Hi guys, Zach here again, and I've got another random map game. What a surprise! And today we've got a bit of Mahori, and you probably remember this guy because I showed quite a few games from him over the recent months. And to be fair, I actually really do enjoy his gameplay, and he's played really great in a lot of the games that I've seen him play in. He's playing in grey down to the bottom left of the map, and he's playing as Spanish as well, which is quite a nice civilization. And up to the north of the map in red, we have Twick Miguel playing as Mongols in red. And the map is, of course, Arabia. Should be a pretty interesting matchup, actually. I'm really kind of hoping that this is a great game, at the very least. I think it was quite long, so we'll have to see how it goes. And who actually knows who is going to win. It should be a pretty interesting one nevertheless. And I actually hate the colour grey as well. You know how much I hate the colour yellow in this game, but I also hate the colour grey because it's just as hard to see. It looks like there's loads of stone mines all over the map, when in fact it's actually just grey down here. And of course I'm going to keep things speeding on up until we get to some real action. And oh dear, Mahori losing a villager there, luring the boar on the hill. The boar got a good hit on the villager, and that is a mistake that you really don't want to be doing this early on in the game. Losing a villager that early on, look at the score difference already. That has set him back so much, just losing that one villager. Hopefully it won't have too much of an impact on him, but certainly not a great way to start, losing a villager there. So if we have a look at the populations, it's 13 to 12 at the moment, and Miguel is going to have that advantage of one villager a little bit earlier on. This villager extremely low on HP, actually, almost lost that one as well, and Mahori really is going to have to be quite careful here, it seems. Excuse me, I still do have a cough, unfortunately, which is kind of annoying. Miguel taking the deer at the back instead of going straight for his berries. He's got his second boar on the way, and he's already found most of his sheep, or all of his sheep even. So he's already off to a pretty decent start. One thing that is kind of unfortunate for Miguel, though, is how far away his wood camp is. It's very far away here, and his gold is quite far from the TC as well. Mahori, on the other hand, well, his wood's in a very nice spot, very easy to wall that and keep them safe, but his gold is on the front hill here, which is going to make things a little bit awkward for him. And of course his boar is on a hill as well. Let's see if he loses this villager. I'm sure he won't. He's probably going to have a lot more attention and care with this. Already retreating away, and he should be fine. That boar now attacking on even ground, and he should be able to get over there and save his villager from dying. Building a house there. Not really sure why, but I suppose he needs to keep his villagers busy. Really, he should build the house a little bit further away because that's going to impact his farming ability. But nevertheless, he's stuck a house up with those villagers to save them from being idle for so long. And I guess that makes sense. So Miguel already getting 2 mills up here. He's milled his berries, he's milled his deer, and he should be able to do a decent scout rush, especially as Mongols. Mongols do benefit from an increased I believe it's 20% rate of gathering from hunted animals, which does mean that he can gather food very quickly and upgrade to the feudal age very quickly as well. And of course he's going to have a hell of a lot of food, as he's already starting to take these deer up here. He's still got 4 sheep left, and he's almost finished his second boar, and he'll probably go up on 22 pop and do a scout rush. We could see something similar from Mahori here, but of course Mahori is looking to be in a little bit of worse shape at the moment, as he did lose that villager, and of course he's not taking deer either at the moment. His deer are fairly close to his TC though, so he could easily take those if he wants to without having to build the second mill, whereas Miguel obviously spending that extra 100 wood to secure that second mill as well on the deer, which does ultimately mean that a good scout rush could be coming in from Miguel here, or even a fast castle, though maybe the fast castle is less likely. He is starting to add on an extra villager here, and maybe he could fast castle. Going to be interesting to see, that is for sure. Spanish, well, they really come into power once they get up to the castle age. The conquistadors really do give them a nice edge. The fact that they can get the gunpowder units so early on with such high attack and mobility, they really are a useful and great unit to have. Mahori just looking like he's just going up to the feudal age now. He's missing, yeah, there we go, just trying to get that extra food by dropping it all off at the town centre there. quite a few low HP villagers, as has Miguel over here, quite a few low HP villagers as well from luring his boar, but no doubt he'll stick them on farms like this one here. And Mahori could actually get that villager if he was to be very sneaky and coming there with his scout and just hit it a couple of times. He would be able to kill that one off, but whether Miguel would get it into the TC in time isn't another question. And I think he's going to just about finish this deer patch up now and then send some more villagers over to wood. And if we have a look at how much food Miguel actually has, well, he's got a hell of a lot of food now, and it looks to me like he's going to go for actually do a fast castle here. Pardon me. And he's going up with 26 pop, or even 27, and a fast castle is certainly not out of the question, as he has taken these deer as well. So with Mongols and having that increased hunt rate, it's very interesting really, because you can have the option to do a really strong scout rush, or you have the option to go for a fast castle quite easily, as you do get all that extra resource. He's already sending 2 villagers to stone as well, so maybe he's going to go for and try and do a castle drop, but whatever he's doing, he's quite confident that Mahori isn't going to be able to harass him or attack him too much in the feudal age. And Mahori may have another idea up his sleeves. He may decide to go for a scout rush of his own. He's not gathering any gold yet, and his barracks is already on the way up. A couple of idle villagers there during the feudal age research. Just going to build a house and then add a stable on, I imagine. If he adds an archery range on, I'll be surprised, as he's not actually gathering any gold just yet. So we'll see what he goes for. And a scout rush could be pretty deadly to Miguel. There we go, there's the stable right there. And Miguel obviously can now have to be careful. His villagers quite far away, gathering stone over here, and gathering gold as well, and wood. A scout rush would be very effective if Mahori manages to kill off a couple of villagers. And that's really going to screw with Miguel, especially if he's going to go for a fast castle. Though it might be unlikely that he goes for a fast castle. I think it's probably looking that way right now, as he isn't actually building a barracks just yet either, and we usually see that by halfway to feudal age. I don't know if he's sleeping or what though, because these villagers have been idle for quite some time now, just sending them off to gather some wood and gather some gold as well. And he is definitely going to fast castle. 3 villagers to gold. He's going to need that extra wood to get his 2 feudal age buildings, and he should, in theory, be able to do a decent castle time here. Mahori's starting to take his deer now. He's getting aggressive, so he knows that he's going to be able to take these deer without any trouble whatsoever. And he can tell by Miguel's feudal time that something is up and a fast castle is likely. Once he gets up to the castle age though, that is where the questions are all to be asked. What is he going to do when he gets there? Well, it looks to me like he's going to go for that castle drop and make some Mangudai, probably throw in a couple of Mangulels as well, and if he does do that, then he could be a decent situation. Going to lose a villager or 2 though if he's not careful, as this scout rush is starting to come in, but being very careful to make sure these palisades are up and the scouts can't get through, and that is going to be very much working out for him in this situation. Got to get this villager back to safety though, otherwise he is going to die, and it looks like he's going to be able to just get him back in time and keep him safe. But these 3 still very exposed, going to have to run back to the TC with those, and lacking a little bit of food here as well, unfortunately. He really does need these villagers on the berries, otherwise he's not going to be able to get enough food to go castle straight away. And Mahori getting a little bit close to the TC there. If only he knew that this stone camp was here, he would be attacking that right now, and a lot of villagers would be under pressure, but of course he doesn't know that it's there. And Miguel even, actually not able to get up to the castle age just yet. He needs a little bit more food, and I realised I was on the wrong person, but oh no, I'm not. There we go. Miguel does need a little bit more food. He can get up to the castle age real quick. And I think Mahori's going to struggle actually killing many villagers or anything with these scouts here. Miguel's already walled himself up very nicely, and Mahori is now being slowed down massively because obviously scouts cost food to create. He's still creating them right now, and that's going to slow his castle age time down. And if you can defend against the castle drop, and if you can defend that very nicely, then he's going to be okay. But of course, Miguel, if he gets up to the castle age pretty quickly, he is of course going to be able to pardon me, He is, of course, going to be able to build those 2 extra TCs as well. Miguel getting a little bit sloppy there. These scouts are going to get in. They're going to kill a couple of villagers, and that is not so great for Miguel right here. Miguel, of course, going to want to keep these villagers alive, but those scouts breaking in there and picking away very nicely indeed, not putting enough HP onto that palisade wall and not repairing it quickly enough. There's 3 villagers lost for Miguel, and though he's up to the castle age, Mahori has got the score lead, and looking at the populations, it's 24 to 35 for Mahori right here, and Mahori just gathering up his deer, might look to go to the castle age pretty soon, or he's just going to continue to go with his scout rush and keep the pressure on. He could do quite a lot of damage if he goes for these walls right here. This one only 41 HP, and if Miguel again doesn't realise that it's being attacked, then he could lose that pretty quickly. This one here on 28, he could break through that pretty quick and attack through there as well. For the time being, he's just going to keep the pressure on, keep Miguel inside of his town centre, and stop him from collecting resources. That is the best he can do at the moment. With Miguel, though, still with quite a few villagers collecting stone over here, he's going to have enough for the castle drop very shortly, and it's almost like watching an arena game right now. 52 HP on this palisade, and 28 on this one. If he goes for this palisade here, he could actually break in and kill another 4 villagers quite easily, and of course Miguel going to try and add HP to those palisades pretty quickly, and again preventing them from gathering. And if he keeps attacking that palisade there, eventually it's going to go down, and eventually that villager is just going to be wasted. It's just going to be repairing that the whole time, and that's not going to work out so great for him. But Miguel now reaching the castle age in 16 minutes, a pretty decent time indeed, but there's a hell of a lot of scouts coming in from Mahori right now, and he's still trying to get through these palisades. Miguel, though, throwing up a castle right here, and Mahori isn't going to be able to do much to prevent the castle from going up, though he can slow it down if he tries, but a lot of hits coming in on those villagers right there. Again, he can't get too close to the TC, otherwise he's going to lose a lot of scouts, but Miguel is going to be able to get that castle up because it is in range of his TC, of course. He's not going to go and do a castle drop on Mahori, he's going to put it in defense, and he's probably going to make Mangadai here, and that could be interesting indeed. Mahori starting to gather gold, stone of his own. He's likely to want to make a castle once he gets to the castle age to make those conquistadors, of course, and if he does manage to do that, then he could bring this game back. Obviously, Miguel's struggling here a lot, as he is losing quite a few villagers. His villagers are being very idle, and he's trying to get this castle up desperately, but these scouts are desperate to keep it down, of course. The HP is still adding up, though, there, and I think Miguel will get this up eventually. His economy really sort of struggling right now. Still quite a few villagers on stone as well. I don't really think he needs them anymore. He needs more gold, and he needs more wood, and he needs more food for sure, because he's going to have to sustain villager production, which of course right now he can't do, as he doesn't have enough food income at all. And this castle gonna go up eventually, but of course Mahori gonna try and damage it as much as he can, but I think Miguel will probably end up getting it up and then just repairing it anyway, as Mahori back at his base is just going to try and get up to the castle age pretty quickly and go for the castle of his own. Whether he places it defensively or offensively is yet to be answered, but Miguel just about to get this castle up, and of course the castle won't be able to attack these scouts that are actually attacking the castle, because the castle can't attack to its base. But Mahori is just going to be up against Mangadai very shortly, and those Mangadai being queued up right now. Miguel is going to need some more gold collectors for sure. He's going to need at least another 3 to sustain production of Mangadai consistently, and he's going to need more farms as well, but he's working on that slowly but surely. Garrisoning a villager in there because he set the gather point to the castle. I don't think he quite realised that. And Mahori losing quite a few scouts there to the castle. And there we go, another town centre on the gold right now, and Mangadai starting to come out at a pretty decent rate. And there we go, he's attacked that palisade right there, and Miguel quick to respond, actually putting a palisade up on this side, keeping his villagers safe, and that's a really hard thing to do in Arabia. Actually keep your villagers safe when your opponent is rushing you, because it's so hard to actually make sure they stay alive when you've got scouts attacking you from every angle. Mahori not noticing that that tree has been cut, he can actually sneak through there and kill all of these villagers if he was to go in. This villager now on the outside, Mahori needs to notice that, and if we have a look at his point of view, he should be able to just see that that villager is on the outside. But in comes Miguel now with another palisade wall, and with the Mangadai also. So see what he can actually do here. The Mangudai are pretty decent. They are going to be able to do a fair amount of damage to these scouts if he manages to mass them up a little bit. And of course, once he upgrades them as well, he's missing fletching at the moment. He's just desperately trying to get these Mangudai up and get his TC up as well. Of course, TC is great for defense and protecting your economy. And this villager is still idle inside of this castle here. Come on, you know you want to get that villager to work. But right now he really does need more of everything, to be honest. He needs more food income, that's for sure, as he will need to produce villagers from both of these town centres consistently. Looks like he's even going to go for a second castle here with 500 stone at the moment, another 150 to go, and he might just do that. Mahori up to the castle age, of course. It's to be expected by now that he would be going up. What he does when he gets castle is still to be answered, of course, and we probably will see a couple of knights coming out as he has built the second stable here. It could be a possibility, but he has got enough stone for a castle, and he probably will make some conquistadors when he can get that castle up. But Miguel already into the castle age now, of course, and probably looking to make another castle or at least another town centre. He's going to need to keep this villager production high though, and spend his resources, of course, and 4-5 Mangudai there, not really going to be able to cut it, unfortunately. He's going to have to do a little bit more than that, but he's going to be able to do a significant amount of damage to these scouts anyway. But of course the scout's actually going to attack his Mangudai and may even just kill one there, because of course these Mangudai only just getting fletching right now. Nice micro from Mahori, distracting the Mangudai with 2 scouts so that they attack those while the others attack the Mangudai, and pretty decent micro from him right there, looking to kill off these villagers as well. He's getting cheeky, he's going to take exactly what he can, and this villager likely to die right now with +2 attack on these scouts, so he's already got forging. And that's pretty good for him. But I don't know at the moment if Miguel is that far in the lead. He's really struggling for numbers at the moment. He's really not got much military at all. Yes, he's got this castle. Yes, he's got a second castle on the way. But it's 40 population to Mahori's 32. So actually, he is getting a bit further ahead, especially in economy right now, as he does have that second town centre producing villagers consistently. And he's going to want to continue that as well throughout the duration of the game, so that he can, of course, make sure his villager production is high and his economy is good. Chasing away those scouts, and it looks like Mahori's scouts are all dead apart from one. He's got 1 scout cavalry left, and pretty much back to square one for him, but it's only got 9 HP as well, so that's going to be cleaned up and picked off very quickly, I imagine. And there we go, dead scout for him. And Mahori now into the castle age, putting a castle on this gold here. Perhaps maybe a castle here would be better, because not only is it on a hill, but it covers both gold piles, which is probably much better in theory than it is to put it at the bottom of the hill. But Mahori going to stick his castle there anyway, and he is going to continue to gather stone. Likely that we'll see conquistadors from him, and husbandry being researched right now to improve his cavalry speed. That's important for micro, of course, especially if you've got Mangudai versus conquistadors, and we'll see how much damage the conquistadors can do. This castle here now, of course, though, going to be able to attack these Mangudai, but of course the Mangudai have the high ground, so it does mean that the castle does less damage, though it does still do considerable damage, and Miguel really will not want to be hanging around there too much. Conquistadors just coming out right now as well, and another town centre going up on this wood. Mahori looking like his economy is in okay shape, though he really is lacking quite a few villagers at this stage. He spent a lot on scouts, and he's missing a lot of wood. A lot of food even. Big mistake trying to go for this town centre over here, attacking the Mangudai with his villagers, and they're just going to be microed away, and a lot of dead villagers going to be coming out from there. That is definitely not a good time to build a town centre from Mahori there. But now he's got the conquistadors out. If we have a look, they are very formidable with 16 attack and 75 HP compared to 60 HP and 6+2 attack from Miguel. Of course, they are slightly inaccurate. They don't always hit, and they can be out-microed as well, but the Conquistadors are a very powerful unit and well worth getting. They also have the same range at the moment as well, but of course the Mangudai can outrange them eventually, and Mahori just cleaning up that Mangudai there and just trying to get that town centre up. Third TC completed right now, and I think Miguel is still on just the 2. Yes, he is, but he's going to keep the pressure high and go mainly into wood and gold. If we have a look at how many gold collectors he's got a hell of a lot right there, and he's going to be continuing to make Mangadai now, and trying to just do what damage he can to Mahori's economy. Mahori, though, in score is not that far behind. He's only 200 score behind, and he can definitely bring this one back, though he is looking like he's falling behind a little bit right here. We'll have to see how it goes for him. Keeping his resources very low, though, that's a good thing, of course. He's going to be making sure that he keeps his economy in top shape, continuing to produce villagers consistently, get that sorted out, and then add in some conquistadors where he can. Where is he actually sending them? Well, he's got a good 5-6 over here, going to try and pick off some economy from Miguel. I don't think he realizes this castle is up, though, and he's going to run into that very shortly. That's going to be a little bit messy for him, running head on into a castle. He's going to obviously go for these villagers over here, but here's the castle fire now, and he's going to take some big damage if he hangs around there too long. 2 castles firing upon him, and that could be a couple of dead conquistadors very quickly. There's one down already, and Miguel is going to push out with the counter straight away as Mahori sort of hangs around on this hill and tries to do what damage he can. He's going to be able to do quite a bit of damage to the Mangadais, of course, if he can hit them, and Miguel going to try and micro those away as he sends his Mangadai across the map right now, and likely that he's going to go and attack Mahori's eco somewhere. Mahori's looking pretty protected, though. I don't think there's any weak spots in his economy. Perhaps he could kill off a couple of villagers if he came around the back here, but really there's not a lot he's going to be able to do in terms of killing villagers. Perhaps this villager could be a little bit of a weak spot in Mahori's defense, but this castle covers a lot of his economy here, and of course these TCs cover it as well. See what he can actually do. He might be able to get a couple of picks here, and if he does do that, then there's one at the very least. I don't know if he's got ballistics just as yet. I don't see a university, so he can't have, but he's going to be able to kill off a couple of villagers anyway, and every villager does really count. Trying to get in there, getting into the back now, and it looks to me like Mahori's going to be playing it very safe, keeping his villagers inside of his TC, bringing some conquistadors over right now, and he looks like to me that he's going to be able to clear this up very quickly, and Miguel getting cheeky, trying to take that farm there, and if he just managed to kill the farm, that's 60 wood lost, of course, and going to run headlong into this castle. Very nice wall off by Mahori there, trapping these Mangadai in, and that is a great move from him. These Mangadai will, of course, all die, and that's going to bring the scores very level all of a sudden, as Mahori does take the score lead just from that engagement. An amazing piece of play by him right there, and that really did bring him back into the game. Miguel lost a lot of resources in that little battle there, and that is a huge well, I wouldn't say mistake, but a huge battle for Mahori at very least. He's now got quite a lot of conquistadors on the field. His economy's getting into top shape, and if we have a look at the populations, it's 59 to 70. So Miguel has been reined in a little bit. He would have been on about 80 before he lost that battle, though he is considerably further ahead in economy at this stage as well. He does have his 3 town centres up, he's got a lot of villages, and there's the university for ballistics very shortly. What upgrades does he have? Well, he's already got bodkin arrow, he's got +1 archer armour defence, so he is going to be in a decent situation to push out and try and see what damage he can do. Mahori straight on again with a counter over here, and oh, maybe not. He's going to bring them back and defend himself for a bit, continuing to make conquistadors, of course. Another town centre going up on this hill right here, and I still think that perhaps the castle here and the town centre here would have been better. But he can still put farms around this one, whereas if he did put a town centre here, he'd be limited for a room where he could put farms. And Spanish do need a lot of food. Obviously conquistadors take food, and knights take food as well. Mahori now pushing out across the map with his Mangadai, taking even more stone, and he could even be looking to make a 3rd castle very shortly. And really, I do honestly think the strength of the Mongols is in their cavalry archers, and the Mangadais are such a great unit. Personally, one of my favourite units in the game, and if you can mass them up, you can do a hell of a lot of damage with them, especially if he does get husbandry. He will need that if he wants to micro effectively against Mahori, who does have husbandry at this stage of the game. And now Mahori's just continuing to work on his economy, of course, whilst maintaining his production of conquistadors when he can, I imagine. He won't want to fall too far behind in army count, but he does have a higher score right now, which does mean good things for him. And of course Miguel just protecting this stone over here. I think he's probably going to go for another castle on Mahori's base. If he puts a castle here, that could be a really nice spot for one. Of course, firing down onto Mahori's base and firing across onto this town centre could mean that this town centre is lost for Mahori if he does put it there. Whether or not he goes for an offensive or defensive castle, though, is yet to be seen, and I'm sure we'll find out very shortly, as he almost is at 650 stone right now, continuing to produce Mangudai as well, and getting the upgrades when he can afford them. A castle there on this hill, it's a defensive castle again, but it is going to be in a nice little spot. It's going to protect this stone, it's going to protect this gold, and Miguel looking to be playing this one pretty strongly actually. I do think he's got a pretty good chance in this game, especially if he continues to raid and not get trapped in Mahori's base. Though Mahori is doing a pretty good job as well. His economy is really getting rolling right now, and he's catching Miguel up in population very rapidly, rapido. And I think that perhaps if he manages to defend this, he could really find himself back in this game. Moving out now with these conquistadors on the right hand side, this could be nice. Conquistadors right here would do a lot of damage and kill a lot of villagers. If you can actually get that in and do some damage, that is nice for him, killing off 4 villagers there from Miguel, and Miguel was actually going to go and send them somewhere. Not really sure where he was going with them, but whatever happened, he did prevent it, and now Mahori's just going to go around, check the gold spots, try and pick off villagers where he can. Doesn't want to get too close to the TC, managed to pick off another villager there, and he's severely outnumbered by this Mangudai. He is going to have to run and get away, because these Mangudai will catch him up and do a hell of a lot of damage, as he is extremely outnumbered right now. Mahori, though, going up to the Imperial age. Miguel is still castle, and he's a way away from getting Imperial right now. He is relying on the strength of his Mangudai army at the moment to do considerable damage to Mahori. Mahori, nice micro there, splitting his conquistadors and trying to retreat tactically so that he can keep as many of his conquistadors alive as he possibly can. Mahori giving chase, and he might even decide, yep, he's going to go for a different angle of attack. Could work out pretty well for him, but this looks like a solid wall to me. Though he could get through the houses pretty quickly, I imagine, with these Mangudai. He could quickly get through one of these and sneak around, but Mahori keeping his conquistadors alive for the time being, and that's what matters. He's going up to the Imperial age right now as well, which does mean that we could see some really big upgrades for him once he does get Imperial. But in comes Miguel from the side, see what he can actually do here. He's going to be able to pick off a few villagers for sure. He's trying to get things even once again, and he's coming in now with the hill advantage over here to try and kill as many villagers and kill as many conquistadors as he possibly can. Mahori coming back now as well with his army, and Miguel going to try and kill what he can, but of course conquistadors very formidable, especially with this +4 archer armor that really does reduce the Mangudai attack strength on them, and with the extra HP as well, does make them a very formidable unit in one-to-one combat with the Mangudai. But of course the Mangudai's really great raiding units, attacking Mahori on this left side here, killing off a couple more villagers of course, and keeping him safe for the time being, preventing Mahori from gathering of course as well, and trying to do what damage you can to these conquistadors, trying to gain the hill advantage, but Mahori's not having any of it. He's going to be blasting these guys with his conquistadors, and they are going to be dropping like flies, it seems. 2 more Mangudais lost as Mahori's about to reach Imperial, and Miguel still nowhere near for the time being. He's just continuing to make Mangudai, but if we have a look, he's actually got 33 cavalry archers right now. Mahori is on 13 cavalry archers, which technically conquistadors are cavalry archers. He has definitely got nowhere near as much army count, but look how much resources he's got. He's got a lot of resources to afford a lot of upgrades. He may go for Cavalier once he gets up to the Imperial age, but we haven't really seen many knights from him just yet. A second castle there. Looks like he's going to continue to make the conquistadors, and he really can afford to. He's got a lot of resources in the bank, and I believe actually that Mahori's got a very nice little advantage in this game right now. He does need to boost his numbers though massively, and he does need to keep his conquistadors alive so that he can upgrade them to the max and do what damage he can. No upgrades coming in just yet. So no idea exactly if he's going to deviate from his plan of just purely conquistadors. He might be able to do upgrading those to elite, and he's actually researching Supremacy, which does give his villagers incredible attack strength, and that is really interesting. And I've just noticed as well, his villagers haven't actually got loom. He doesn't actually have loom yet, and that is weird because I thought he would have had Loom by now. He's lost quite a few villagers to Miguel, and though he saved that 50 gold at the start, not having Loom is quite a big deal, but now he's researching Supremacy. You'll see in a second how strong his villagers actually become, but this is a bad time to be moving out. Miguel going to head these villagers off. He's going to get a hell of a lot of kills here, and Mahori is surrounded by Mangadai. He may just be able to hold them off with his conquistadors, but he's hugely outnumbered, and his villagers are all dying, and that's not a good time for them to be dying just before Supremacy is done. There we go now. They have +6 attack, +2 armor, and I think he just researched Loom as well. It would be a good idea to research Loom. That extra attack really wouldn't do any damage at all. And now he's got Supremacy. I'm interested to see what strategy he's going to do. We've seen it before when Dreams did that, was rushed, I think, with the Supremacy, the Spanish villagers, but whether or not he actually manages to do much with this is yet to be seen. Miguel really coming in with these Mangadais, looking to do a lot of damage, and Mahori really doesn't have that much army, though he does have these 2 castles to keep himself defended with. Whether or not he can actually defend against this many Mangadai is the real question, to be honest, because Miguel is getting very aggressive now, looking to take out what he can. And look at these villagers. They're actually resisting a full volley of arrows from these Mangadai right now. They are really, really strong. +4 pierce armor, and that's huge pierce armor right there. But Miguel really actually taking a very nice advantage here. No conquistadors left for Mahori, unfortunately, and I'm not really sure what his plan is with these villagers. He's upgraded them with Supremacy, but he's not really doing much with them, and he's going to have to push out, at least get some numbers together, maybe even knights to go and make some raids on his economy. There come the villagers from Mahori. He's going to try and do what he can here. He's going for a villager rush, but he just resigned, and that's a little bit unfortunate. I thought really if he actually played that properly and actually kept it together, he could have won that game. I don't know if he maybe ran out of time or something, but he just resigned seemingly for no reason, and I genuinely thought if he continued to make conquistadors, maybe even do a castle drop on Miguel a bit earlier on, he could have stayed in that game. These villagers going in for an attack with the +6 attack and +4 ranged armor, but not really doing much with that. If you are going to do that, you may as well just go all in and send your whole entire army of villagers over to kill the opponents. But yeah, Miguel played that quite nicely. These 2 castles really defending his economy in the early game, and then of course 2 more castles at the front to consistently make Mangadai. Kind of paid off for him, and he didn't even need to go up to the Imperial Age to win that game. So I genuinely thought Mahori could have stayed in there a little bit longer. Fortunately, he resigned when he did, and we didn't really get to see much villager action, but Miguel, I suppose, deserved that game anyway, because he did play that really good from the outset of the game. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this game. I was expecting a little bit more, but oh well. I've been Zach, and I will see you next time.